in this session, we have invited our senior member and well-experienced person, indirect tax specialist, our past Central Council member, past Indirect Tax Committee Chairman of ICAI, CA Madhukar Hiregange is with us. Now I request Srinivas to escort him and welcome him to the floor, okay? Please welcome him. Thank you, Srinivas. Friends, it's my pleasure to introduce CA Madhukar N Hiregange to this August gathering. So he was our Central Council member for 2 terms, and both the terms he was the indirect tax chairman of ICAI. He has done wonderful job as indirect tax chairman for the ICAI, and during his second term the GST implementation was there. He was part of that and he contributed a lot to the institute and also to the government to prepare so many things along with this team of indirect tax specialists. He was a managing trustee with the Empower Education Foundation. It's sponsoring education of 100+ lesser privileged students in Bangalore. He believes in value-based practice and in life too. He jointly authored more than 16 books in Central Excise, Service Tax, Karnataka VAT, and Excise and Service Tax Audit, IPCC study material, and handbook on GST and CST. Hiregange has been active in the field of spreading awareness through seminars and articles, had been a visiting faculty at various professional management institutes including IIM Bangalore, had been active in online replies on several professional queries. With this brief introduction, a fascinating individual, CA Madhukar Hiregange, present before you. Please join me to welcome Madhukar.
Thanks, Shaki, for that introduction. Only thing I think it's about 10 years old. Doesn't matter, most of you know me. So, when I was listening to Madhu, I was just wondering how much you are going to listen to repetition. Because there is a lot of overlap between start and growth. Some of the things I thought I will start off with responding to what Madhu has said. First and most important thing I think we have to differentiate today is whether we are in profession or we are in business. I understand Big Four is in business. Not understand, I know, and all of us know. They are in business, there is no doubt. But then they don't say that they are in profession, so it's okay. But can we say the same thing? Are we in business? If we are in business, then there are some issues with the institute, right? I'm not supposed to be in business. I can't do share trading and practice. I can't do real estate consultation and practice, or brokerage, what we talked about and practice is not permissible. So you have to choose either of them. Choose and go away. No issues. There are enough of opportunities, nothing wrong in doing business. Is there anything wrong in doing business? We are all, after all, service providers for business itself. So you can as well do business if you have enough knowledge. But an amalgam possibly is causing a lot of conflict and problems. Many of us would have dabbled here and there. I myself did share business for some time in maybe 90s and lost a lot of money. I also felt many of my clients were making tons of money in real estate, so I said, this area I can go. When I was earning 10 lakhs from profession. Huh? Yeah.
Car number 5231.
Yeah. So where I forgot where I was. This is another problem of age. As you go along, you forget many 40 lakhs. 1990 something, 93 or something. Large amount of money. Suddenly I got from motorcycle, I shifted to car and shifted to bigger house. And my wife was very happy I got into real estate business. Next year, 95, bloodbath for real estate industry. Lost everything, lost my mental capabilities also. Because I had to pay such a lot of loans. I think I paid about 1 crore of interest in the next 3 years. Taking Citibank loan, year loan, I'll take loan from him, pay to him, then I'll take loan from the person behind and give to him. And every time I'm taking the loan, it's becoming bigger and bigger. That's when I realized, stick to profession. And now I'm okay. But it's taken a little time. It took me 10 years to stabilize from getting into the business. Maybe I'm not fit. And where I would have been if I was not in that business, I don't know. One more thing which Madhur mentioned is very good. He was saying, the service you give is never free. Whatever you quote for a service, if you have done your job well, don't think that you have short sold. Just to prove yourself, you might have said some nominal fee, 50,000 for this assignment which I am going to take a week to do. Doesn't matter. The balance goes somewhere, comes back to you. I think even Shetty mentioned the same. This is a universal law of nature. Whatever you give, you get back. Simple. And it's there in everything. Whether you give negativity, positivity, need not be money, need not be service, anything you give, you will get back. That's what I have seen in my short life. And it's not that clients don't appreciate. I'll give you an example. Yesterday I was having a meeting with our internal auditor. We have an internal auditor because we have many branches and I have no idea of accounts. Though I am in chartered accountant, I have no idea of accounts. So we kept an internal auditor and his staff were telling me that how much time they have spent. So I asked them, are you billing us? Last 3 years you have been with us. They said, yes sir, we are billing you. And I said, I understand you are doing some extra work for income tax. Yes sir, last 3 years we are doing. Have you charged for it? They said, no sir. It's an honor to work with you or in your office. I said, is our office responding properly? No sir. We are spending at least 3 times the amount of time we are spending for any other client. So I said, you should bill extra. I am giving you the authority to bill extra. Bill extra. One, you have to bill me for the income tax additional work you do. Also bill me extra for all that extra time you are spending. And I am going to send you a bill to all the partners. Tell them that I am debiting all of you for this. Remember, when it goes out of my share of profit, it's always painful. One more thing he mentioned, which I have also been touching on, is the people. He said, take care of your people. Shiv Khera says, take care of your people from 9 p.m., 8 p.m. to 8 a.m. And they will take care of your practice in the period from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Of course, I don't think our staff work that much in our office at least. But your office it may be there. I also thought, because today is Independence Day, I was just thinking, what should we be independent of? A chartered accountant is looked on for his independence. Can he give an independent opinion? Can he do his attest function without getting influenced by the client? Will we have conflicts? I will give up this NPA when I am doing this bank finalization. I will give my client some 10 crore loan. That client will give you 10%. 1 crore will get. Go to a PSU, get find lot of mistakes. Your staff and all think you are God, and then ask them to take some ABCD contractor for 150 crore contract and take 10% of it. Maybe we have to be independent of this. Many of us, elected members included, unfortunately have made this a habit at many levels, not in the branches luckily. So branches are exceptional as far as I have seen in India. Branches are doing well. But I think everywhere else to become a business to get into the politics of the institute. The second is that I should have independence even to give an opinion. Client wants an opinion in a particular way, does not mean that you have to give it in that way. 60 to 70% of the opinion we issue in our office are against the clients. We confirm the view of the revenue. Then why clients will come to you? They will come to you because you are avoiding disputes. There is no dispute for them later. They may go against your opinion also, but they will take a little more care. They will plan for how to not do that, what we have suggested. Sometimes, of course, it's not that we are giving opinions which are not at all client friendly. If there is a case which is there, we study it a little more. Why not? Anything can be studied deeper and deeper. So without a deep study, you shouldn't give an opinion. There are so many things which are all changing. Environment changes everything. How many of you are doing indirect tax? Okay, quite a lot. So I'll give you an example. Say I am a person who is running a hospital, and for the last 10 years, I am having in my balance sheet and profit and loss account, I have sale of medicine and treatment. Sale of medicine can be outpatient, it can be inpatient also, correct? So if it is inpatient, should I include the value of that medicine in my composite supply of treatment of healthcare and claim the exemption, or on that amount of medicine which is used by the patient, I should discharge the GST? Simple question. So if you look at it, on the face of it, the issue was this hospital has been consistently charging medicine separately and charging GST. The objection which has come from one of our colleagues, and I salute them because they have gone to that depth. Though they are normal practitioners, they are not indirect tax experts, they have gone to the point where they are saying that medicines which are consumed by the inpatients are exempt, and therefore the ITC on that cannot be allowed. So department may now come forward, and you can imagine a hospital which is having say 200 or 400 crore, maybe about 100 crore is medicine. And if the credit on that 100 crores goes, it will not be less than 12 crores. It's a huge amount. So the chartered accountant came up with this view. Our prima facie view was, yeah, what he's saying is correct. When we started examining, we looked at many things. What is the practice? What is the composite supply? Naturally bundled. You look at all the case laws in VAT, they are all against us. Where they say medicines are part of the treatment, and therefore there is no VAT on that. It has gone up to whichever high court level and all. You have about half a dozen advance rulings also on this, which also confirm the same thing in GST. So it's very easy to say, no, you have to reverse. But when we looked at it a little further, we looked at what is naturally bundled, number one question. Number two, what about the practice of the client? Showing it separately. Number three, we looked at a thought process of unjust enrichment. If I was to include the value of medicines in the supply in which I am charging medicine separately, surgery, other things separately, then what is the amount I should put for the medicine? Should I put it at purchase price, or can I put MRP? If I put MRP, then I am collecting the GST on the final price. But you go to any hospital, fault is anybody. In the bill it will be MRP only. But they are not paying any GST. They are not taking any credit. So what is it that you think the department will do? The department will look at that and say, you are selling at MRP, you should have only sold, you should have charged the client only your purchase price. You are having unjust enrichment in From 60 rupees you purchase, you are charging 100 rupees, the 40 rupees you are not charged GST on. Okay, it is exempt, no doubt. But there is unjust enrichment from your side. So I got a view when I looked deeper. I like this, I got another 2 points. Where I was able to look at it and say, oh, tell the client, please continue whatever you do. So sometimes opinions are not what they appear to be. And a lot of depth, correctly said by Madhu earlier, very, very difficult for us to give opinion in GST. Lot of research has to be done. Old case laws have to be seen. Reading what he mentioned. Recently we started Bangalore Study Circle, resurrected the Bangalore Study Circle, Indirect Tax Study Circle. There were about 20, 30 people who had come. So the rules of the study circle, you have to read 3 hours per day, write 1 hour a day. If you cannot do it, don't join the study circle. Simple, very simple, easy rules to get in. But there is a promise that in 1 year time you will be an expert in GST or well on the way to become an expert. So I think some people have joined. When I look at again your independence, we are different from lawyers. Anybody who comes to us, we cannot take their work. A law evader comes to us, we need not take his work. A lawyer has a job. His duty is to fight for anybody, whoever it is. A person who has done multiple murders also can come to a lawyer and within his professional ethics he can defend them. But we cannot, because we are answerable to many stakeholders. We are answerable to the government, we are answerable to the revenue, we are answerable to the public, and we are also answerable to our client who pays the fees. So there is a lot of issue involved there. Even if we represent, we are at a disadvantage. So if at all we have such clients who are dealing in fake bills, etc., I think we should just defer them or refer them to some advocate who doesn't have any conflicts. Because if I am not independent, then how can anything go further? Maybe ethical, what you mentioned, not bribing. Maybe we have to take a call that we will never bribe in our life. Bribe actually disempowers you and empowers the other side. That officer who is taking a bribe. And if you are just escalating, nothing else is required to avoid bribing. You have to first have a backbone. If you don't have a backbone, you can't fight bribes. If you have a backbone, you can simply go escalate that to the higher officer. You won't believe this. We had some challenge like this in our office once. It was about DGFT. That one officer is okay, one officer is not okay. And our people took it up and I said, I won't come. I am too old now to fight with all these people. If you have the backbone, you fight. If you don't have the backbone, leave it. Don't practice. But you can't pay a bribe. So they said, okay, we have to do them something. So they went and today, after some time, whatever happened, that officer is asking them, what did I do to you? Here is a script, you are not even asked reminder, here take it and go. Any problem is there, come back to me. Why? Escalation. They are scared about paper and escalation. So in paper you escalate to the next fellow. Next fellow also is corrupt. No problem. Even corrupt fellows are scared of paper. So you escalate to the next fellow. Next time you write to that DGFT or deputy DGFT who is here and then with a copy to the joint DGFT in Chennai. If still they don't see, then write it to the DGFT in Delhi, who is the top of that. Even if all of them are corrupt, they will not keep quiet. You will not have to go any further. In Bangalore, we didn't have to go further. At that stage, it stopped. Now they are saying, please come, any script, please come directly to me. In fact, that same officer had said, there is no rule for you to come. There is no authorized representative in foreign trade policy. Therefore, I can throw you out. You fellows, all corrupt fellows, he's telling us. Fellow is taking 2% and 50,000 and telling us this. So then I put it in LinkedIn that this is the type of claims these people make. Unfortunately, the people who pay them are able to walk into their cabin and get their work done. That's all. Next day, that fellow is now shitting bricks. He doesn't know when he will be shifted. Anyway, Should we have personal ethics? Should we pay tax? First thing is we should pay tax. Chidambaram said that chartered accountants don't pay tax. We can't say, okay, lawyers pay less tax. That is not our ethics. We should say, yes, we don't pay tax, so we'll pay tax from now on. Things are becoming anyway too transparent, so if you are able to pay your taxes on your own, maybe nobody can question you. And you'll have the guts to fight with anybody. This is all the introduction to whatever little interaction. I think 20 minutes has gone in this itself. Let me look at what I have prepared. It's all amalgam of many experiences of mine. So we look at what Ronald Reagan said, that all of you have an advantage that you are working on the experience already there and going further. You can stand on the shoulders of the older people and go up. Many of us in this room, we were all first generation chartered accountants. You can say quasi business because our parents and all were clerks or managers or government employees. But we chose to move a little ahead because we are a little more comfortable. So now this generation which is there before us, some of you of course are from my generation, and many of you are 2-3 generations away. I am talking about those generations. So you can always look at many opportunities beyond. And it's very important to see opportunities beyond, because if you are doing accounting, you are doing certification, your practice period is 1 year, 10 years. After 10 years you have no work at all. Everything will be automated, nothing will be left for you. Let's look at what IFAC says. This is a very old slide, I picked it up from IFAC. They say that there are two things which are important: the confirmation, that is the attest function, performance, the evaluation, the value addition, the tax practice, all that comes through. So this all could be in many areas. Even if I am in employment, this will apply. Even if I am in practice, this will apply. So they look at 4 quadrants of a person who is a reporter of value. Maybe when I started practice, I was a reporter of value. And it's not true what Madhur said. I did about income tax, I did for about 7 years. Because I had to survive. I didn't know anything about indirect tax in 1988, except I bought a book which was quite fat. And the book was there as a marketing. Whether I read it or not, everybody who came to my room used to ask, what is this? Because no chartered accountant knew what is excise. I also didn't know, but they didn't know that I didn't know. It was going on well like that. Somewhere I started reading and I had a lot of challenges. Registration, I had a problem. But after that they used to call me and give me registration. After that they see me with a terror in those offices. The moment I go, that person where the application is sitting used to come take me and give me the registration after some time. But that was after 2 years of waiting. By the time a few fellows had got transferred and all, thanks to my letters. So what does this creator of value? Creator is the ultimate. Some of us who are older, some of us may not be so old but very sharp, have looked at how the practice should grow. We are already in this area of creating value. Creating value could be from nothing, just a discussion you can create value. Such type of people will be there as advisors to the board. They will be CFOs in companies working. They create a huge value. Good CFOs create huge value. So this is in strategy, the higher level of stuff. For this probably little experience, and then also you should have made a name for yourself, which I am going to touch on also a little later. So I have taken some examples of IDT. This particular presentation will be shared with you. I don't know if they gave a hard copy or not. You given hard copy? Why? You should give hard copy. I don't know why people don't give. They can note down something which otherwise they will forget later. Because you write in a piece of paper, you don't know the link also. What was told, what is being written. You should give a hard copy. 3 per page, it hardly costs 10 rupees, 20 rupees. Anyway, so I am not going to go through this, but I am sure Shetty will ensure all of you will get it in, through mail. So we have to start with compliance and move up. The the ladder to reach this particular place. What is the enabler of value? He is the next level person. I would say that where he could be top management, may not be at board level, the next level. As far as chartered accountant is concerned, he is enabling value. He opens up value. Client comes, says that I have this problem. He says, okay, I will solve this problem. Why don't you do this and this and this? This will enhance your business. This will add some value to you. Why don't you get, are you getting internal audit done? No sir, 3-4 years back it was there, now we are not doing. Why you are not doing? What is the issue? Why you are not getting internal audit? Not that we are going to do, somebody else can do. We already have an internal auditor, sir. Okay, does he do GST? Does he do customs? It doesn't do. We will train those people, those auditors in this, so that you will get the value. Now the client is looking at it totally differently. He came for solution to A, and you are giving him a much bigger answer to some other major problems he is facing. That time his perception about you also changes. That's why they say some of the qualities we have to build for growth, which also I am going to take a little later, are visible, and you are demonstrating that. Are you going to say, no, I gave you this advice, so I am going to charge you 20,000 extra? No, doesn't matter, just a good name is enough. You just keep serving with knowledge, deliver beyond the client's expectation, automatically work comes, money comes. In most of my life, till about whatever this, all this share business, all this, I did no nonsense. In that period, I never earned money really. Whatever that 40-50 lakhs came and on top, it went out like that. Only prepayment was very painful. It took years together to bear the cost of that. But once I got into the point where I said that it's enough, when I crossed 40, I was diagnosed that I already had a heart attack. So I said, what the hell, at 40 I had a heart attack. Before 40 actually. I just changed my thought process. I said, no longer I am going to look at money. And what has happened? After that I am only seeing money. The more I give, the more I get. I go to the institute and spend 80% of my time there, your practice is improving. What is this? Absolutely unreasonable way of working. Of course, I would have preferred that I had money those days, because I have very less wants now. 35 and all, I had a lot of wants. And none of them were fulfilled. So there are a lot of places where you can look at. Look at things which are going to give lasting value for the client. We go and do audit. Transaction report is no use. Give him a report which will prevent his problems, which will correct his problems automatically. That is more important for him. So look at from where he is training of his employees, making a SOP. Many times we think SOP, big work. SOP is just once. Once you make an SOP, it may take you 6 months to go to make an SOP. After that, you only cut, paste, change a few things. Right? So, I don't know how many of us are doing this, but we can do it. If I look at preserve of value one step down, internal auditor, verifier, we see that there is authenticity in the accounts. Some prevention for the future. One of the biggest objectives in GST should be, what you should have is, that I will ensure my clients will not have future demands. That should be your first goal. Second should be, you should be compliant with the law, and when we are signing off GST, we are saying many things. How many of you are going to be signing 9C or already signed? Okay, not many actually. Anyway, there was some notification, press note and all that. Throw it in the toilet. That is what it is worth. If you follow that, you will be going to disciplinary committee, number one. Number two, your client will throw you out after 4 years. That is not what the law intends at all. All these big chartered accountants have gone and influenced Upendra Gupta, who has influenced whoever issued that press note. In fact, Upendra Gupta, who is the chartered accountant, incidentally, once when we were doing this 9C, when I was chairman, he came and told me that we want this. I said, Upendra Gupta ji, you work under certain people whose instructions you have to follow. I have to follow no instruction. I am a patriot of this country. I don't care what you say. I am going to give the audit report as I think it should be for this country. And we gave the audit report. Finally, what has come is they have cut out little good parts of it and put some bad parts, and finally it has come. Same report has come. They could have given a simple format. He said, I will give a 5-page format. I said, please go ahead. But we will not give you that 5-page format. You give it. The time of the old times when we used to have an issue about holding back information from the department, I have been always against. In the practice now of whatever 25 years active practice in indirect taxes, I have always ensured my clients tell the department everything. Opposite of holding back. Tell them everything. Those fellows are idiots. They can't even read what you tell them. So you are protected because of that. This disclosure of facts which I am mentioning. In GST also very important. Do you think the department officers know? What is the response when anybody goes to the department? They say read the law. Because he doesn't know the law. Poor fellow. He got trained somewhere in 2016. That training also he was not bothered. I told, in fact, when I went before Asmukadia, he said, we have trained 60,000 people, how many you have trained? I said, sir, you tell me how many of your people are capable of passing a GST exam. I will give them at the first level of CA, IPCC level an exam I will give. And let me tell you, not more than 2% of those 60,000 will pass. So I asked him, what do you think? 2% is a big number. He actually didn't tell the answer, but he said that. Whether he said it sarcastically or he said it, I believed what he said was true to his heart. He's a very arrogant person, like me only, very arrogant. So you will get a lot of answers for things which are not really great. So what is required for preserving value of the client? Client has some business value. What do you do to preserve it? First, you have to be with him. Till you fix your fees, you can fight with him. The day you fix your fees, story is over. In our office, once some startup came and classification issues, one of the qualifieds quoted some 30,000 rupees, thinking that they are making a killing. After that, that person came, he gave 15,000 items classification. So how much is it? 2 rupees per classification. Of course, we did some grouping and all, but we had already agreed. So we told him this is going to take 2 months. We put 2 people on the job and finally we did it. I told them, this is an experience for your lifetime. You can't do like this. You should first find out what the work is, then vote. It's okay, it doesn't matter. We are a big firm, it doesn't matter. What if you are a starter and you are given this? You have been working for 8 months for that 30,000. Maybe we have to be very much aware of the outside, what's happening outside. Best way is to read. If you are getting a normal newspaper, you have the commerce part of it, 2 pages. If you are getting a business newspaper, Businessman, Economic Times, very good. Please read. Read it like a story, it doesn't matter. You don't have to retain anything. It goes into your database that there is something like this happening in this industry. Very useful so that you can catch it up again. I know you can get in Google, but one of the newspaper reading gives you much expanse. Google can restrict you tremendously. And also the more you use this mobile, the more of an idiot you become. Better keep the mobile aside whenever you have a chance. Some of them even now they are using mobile in this hall. In spite of hearing that. So maybe you should look at all regulations, laws, specialization he has already talked about. Reporter of value is the starting point, but need not be the starting point only. If you make a name for yourself as an independent, worthwhile person, even for your latest functions, you will get respect. Some people who sign certain balance sheets, company law, statutory auditors, they are considered, when it goes to the department says this is an audit done by ABCD and therefore I don't have to look at this. This is the way you should do if you are doing income tax also. Say you are an income tax auditor of one firm, the way you do your income tax audit, your name should be known in the department that once you have checked, there will be nothing there. GST also now you got a wonderful opportunity to bring back credibility to the profession. Do a wonderful job. Don't get influenced by client. Client will say, sir, oh, where is the money? What can I do? This, that. Then long term is better. The situation is not the old days when you could pay the officer and keep quiet. Now the computer is going to give you a notice. Can you pay the computer? So you are going to get caught. It's only a matter of time. There are about 2 million notices waiting with the department. 2 million. Many of them may be to the same SSC. So I think at least, I can think at least 5 lakh SSCs are going to get notices. In that 5 lakh SSCs, maybe 3 lakhs will be routine, only question about, some mistake, some column, instead of column 5, 6, now they are confused that totally. I don't even understand any of those columns. I stop seeing. Any column I call some article, you come here, take this book or tell the client whatever you want to tell. So reporter of value, I should not have bias, I should be independent, and most important is professional skepticism. Many of the chartered accountants who come to consult me say, sir, we are doing this. Who is we? Is he a partner of the client? But he has got used to it. So much aligned with the client that we are thinking we. If he is saying we in a very professional way, being independent is saying we, no issues. But I believe that many of us actually think we means we are identified with that. This professional skepticism must be there everywhere, whether you are an advisor or not. Say you give an opinion. Department should not go against the opinion. Say your client comes to you, give an opinion, department does investigation, and you give an opinion, department should drop all those points where you have given a favorable reply. Because you are a professional, you examined it, you know the subject. There is even a legal maxim on that, which says what the experts say should be left to the experts. Department is not an expert in this law anyway. They may be experts at administering law. They are also experts at harassing and extracting and other things, which the mafia and they share in common. Maybe police also. So maybe when we start any practice, I think I am going into his area now. What the industry wants. I am going to skip this slide because I assume part of it he did mention. But you have to know what industry wants, because we are all service providers to them. If we don't know what they want, how can we know? I have a slide on how to get client focus. I think if you have client focus and you do all those things, you will understand each of your client what they want. They could be different. Some people want long-term growth, some people just want that problem to be solved. So many, but you should come to what is it that client wants. And maybe fine-tune little. Tell him, don't you think you should be doing this also? You got into a dispute. Don't you think you should prevent this sort of problem? How many disputes you have? No, sir, I agree to so many, sir. From service tax time I am in dispute. Maybe you have to put yourself right. Why are you getting disputes? You are paying money to me and people like me. Very expensive, yes, sir. Immediately says, so that my fee will go. You are very smart in this. Fee matter there, terrific. What is there, sir? Multinational companies. What is there between you and me? We have understood. We have shook our hands. But unless you get a PO which is ratified by them, you will be giving free service. The fellow who shook your hand will not be there at all at the time of payment of fees. They will say, there is no PO, how can I pay you? Or you have spent 6 months thinking that MNC big firm. Don't do any work for these big fellows without having sign off. Small fellows, our normal businessmen, they will keep their word. MNC are thugs. You have to get things done very fully. I have lots of thousands of clients. In that MNC maybe about 200 or 300. Of course, once you have established rapport, then you can rely on them. If they say we'll issue an order later, but first assignment, be very careful. So there are, everything you look towards industry will be always either profitability, safety, confirmation. These are the 3 broad heads under which you can get, and they want things fast. They might have slept over a matter for 6 months, but once they come to you, it's very urgent. And sometimes we say it is okay, we'll give it in 2 days. Madhu rightly said, Why do you say 2 days? You know it's going to take 10 days. Why are you saying 2 days? Tell him I'll study and tell you how much time it takes. Nothing wrong. Okay, he said, no, I wanted 2 days, otherwise I go to somebody else. Please go somewhere else. When the taxi driver in Goa is not influenced by the customers, I think we are little above taxi drivers. In Goa, can you get even 10 rupees discount from the next taxi driver? You can't. If the first fellow says from this beach to this beach 600 rupees, you go to the next fellow, he says 600. You go to the 10th fellow, he says 600. You go a little far away and ask, again 600. Nothing has changed. Luckily, we don't quote 600, we quote 60,000, sometimes 6 lakhs, so we are maybe better off than them. One of the thought process which I have is maybe when we are doing any work, I am not talking about GST, any work, income tax, management consultancy, GST, direct tax, maybe we have to start with understanding where is the value trap. This is something I think we have to broaden ourselves. We can't restrict the client. When the client comes in, he is not a sheep to be shaved and sent back. That's the way we look now. Or he comes with rubber chappal and you say, oh, this fellow, I have to get rid of him fast. That rubber chappal fellow may lead you to a wonderful fee. Who knows? If you are really only interested in fees, of course. So what we should do is that if I am doing any work for the client, I would like to look at all these aspects in the next 4 slides which I have got. I would look at him and look at what is his global business, what is the Indian business. I will ask him what you are doing. Today it's the day of the customer, unfortunate or fortunate. Customer is the king, wherever it is. So now, how can I see that my old customers are taken care? If you ask me in my office, I have served more than 5,000-6,000 people. But how many people list I have as of today? Maybe 1,500. 3,500 not in the list because I never bothered. That was maybe I'm not very smart about it. Client list is very important. No? Even if the client has gone out of your circulation, he has found somebody else cheaper or your attitude was not proper, you can always go back. Because the next fellow may not have been any better. Yeah. So you would say, Madhukar was better, he would have thought once or twice, so we'll come back. Okay, arrogant fellow, but we'll manage with him. So can we go back to the old? I'm not talking about Madhukar or chartered accountant, I'm saying business. Businessman, whether he is doing this or not, you can tell. This all doesn't cost money. All it is knowledge with you, which you add value to the business as a matter of passing. When you're having lunch with him, when you're having coffee with him in the starting pleasantries, instead of asking him who is your, how many daughters you have, and do they have children, where are they based, are you interested in all that? Your own children you don't talk to. You're asking about other people's children. Useless fellow. So leave all this nonsense. He says, my daughter is getting married and all that. Very good, sir. That's all. Finish, close. You don't have to go to his marriage. What are you going to do in his daughter's marriage? The queue is there, 1 hour you have time in the queue. Somebody will see you. So networking you can do if you are interested. But networking, unfortunately, you will meet the same fellows. All of them are also come for networking only. At least if you meet some potential, so it's okay. These marriages, you will never meet anybody who is others. You will meet your own. When I go for marriage, same old fellows. 2 years up and down in practice, all of them are there. The same, their daughter or my daughter, like this. So, the next thing is, if you look at global trade, everything is moving towards services. Trade is becoming more and more difficult. Cost of goods will come down only, cannot go up. Of course, in India we have inflation, so cost of goods may go up to some extent. But if you compare inflation and cost of goods are going to keep coming down. Whereas services are the place where it is. So if you have a trader client, you have a manufacturing client, ask them what they can do in service. Can they get into service? Can they do something unique, something different, value added? There are a lot of examples which may have come to your mind when I am talking about this, so I am not going to talk about that. As far as that client is concerned, ask him, why don't you do this extra? This bit extra you do. He may say, no, as it is very competitive product. You tell him you have been complaining that your clients are coming down. And you are also complaining that it's very competitive. But if you don't give some differentiator, don't give that extra mile, why should the client come back to you? He has too many options today. See, in our time we didn't have a problem. Today choosing a stupid mobile is so difficult. You buy a 60,000 mobile, then people say, how can you use it? And I asked my son, he said, why did you buy a 60,000 mobile? You should buy that hawkers buy, that 500 rupees or 1000 rupees. Because you only call and listen. Why do you want the 60,000 mobile? I told him, I asked you last time that, he said, no, you said you want a lot of storage space, so I told you, go old mobile. After I bought it, he is not willing to tell me how to use it. I'm still using that, because I don't know how long it will last. So too many choices, you are spoiled for choices. For us, no choice. At least in the starting of the maybe practice or when you are studying. I think one more thing is global recognition. This may be one of your goals. Whichever firm you have or whichever company you work with, can you get global recognition for that? The client is there, ask him to take global recognition because today the world is open. Provided your quality is good enough, etc., you can do business anywhere in the world. Maybe some ISO, global recognition. This is all for your clients. Chartered accountants also can do. 2700 for consultants is available. ISO 2700, international recognition. Of course, we should then follow the processes. You have to have standardization. You should have SOP in place. So many things. We are still thinking about it. Last 5 years, I have been thinking. So I kept it in thinking. Maybe a few years down the line, it will come. After I leave the firm, it may get. One more thing is, how is your client visible and how fast is his response time? And this is becoming more and more important because consumer is very, very finicky now. Some client comes, asks you for an opinion and you give the opinion next month. He may take that opinion because he is not giving it to anybody else, but next time he will never come to you. Because he wants fast. He says, okay, they may be good, but I want fast opinion. Can't have an opinion after 1 month. I have already taken a decision on that matter. Then he won't pay your fees also. When you check up after 2 years why he has not paid, he will say that, sir, I asked you for opinion in July and in August end you are giving me that opinion. It was of no use to me, so why should I pay you? So you have no choice. GST also you would have paid to the government. Right off you can't even get the GST back. So you are donating to government for doing something late. Visibility is very important. I think we can talk about that a little more. Business ethics which we talked about, you should be proud of it. In our firm we have contribution, whatever contribution you heard about, it is not now, it is from the time when I had a motorcycle. When I had difficulty paying 764 rupees per month, I had a child I was sponsoring for education. Today of course it's more than 150 people concurrently we educate. Up to college we take them. But it's all grown over a period. We have set about 2% of our gross. So it's not something great because 2% of gross is what? You know that chartered accountant 50% margin, 2% is what? Nothing. Of course now as we are growing bigger and bigger, that 50% is becoming lower and lower. Last year 45 or something, now this year maybe 40. I don't know. But anyway, the 2% will not change. One more thing is that we should travel around the world. Maybe in the old regime or in the old times, it was very difficult. Travel itself was very difficult. Money was not there, permissions were difficult, foreign exchange difficult. Today you can just go anywhere. Except I think that Trump's country, everywhere else easy. That Trump is another idiot. Today he says that India is a developed country. 40% of Indians don't eat 2 times a day. That idiot, where he is born, I don't know. But he is helping America for sure. Maybe he is killing the world. Some of the terrorists, when they are all shooting each other, they should shoot Trump also. Back. Only 1 crore needs to be elected in USA. But he is very good at US and he may win the next term. That's what I think. Anyway, when you go to these countries, what happens? Many things you see. All of that is useful for your consulting best practices. You're an auditor, no? So wherever you go, you'll observe so many things. What nobody observes, or who nobody gets, that you get because you're traveling, talking to people. So you are, I would say it's a very good thing to travel the world. Not that I did much of travel. Most of the time I started traveling when my back pain started, so I have no interest in going anywhere. Being flexible and versatile is very, very important. Every 5 years there is a change, big change. For example, for us, we were the premium firm before GST came because we knew customs, we knew VAT, we knew central excise like the back of our hand, we had service tax. Many of our partners used to be, the name used to be added with service tax, Madhukar service tax. Before that it used to be Madhukar excise. So we had made so much of work and so much, then all of that went away, GST came. All of you became equal to me. I had to run a little more. So I made others run and luckily our firm is still going on. What about automation? There is a lot to say here, but I am not a guy who has adopted much of this, but I thought you should know that this is a big area and today you are talking about robotics, bots, all your accounting, Madhur, I think you are aware. If Madhur starts taking bots, the bot will do the work of 5 of his accountants and no mistake at all. Now he says he has a service level agreement, if these many mistakes are there, you get paid this much. If you make this many mistakes, you will be paid this much. If you have a bot, it will do 5 times that work and it will not make any mistakes. So bots are going to replace all accountants. And anything, not only accountants, routine. When I say accountant, not chartered accountant. Be assured, your job is safe. Wherever you are using your head, you are safe. Maybe there is a lot of work involved in the advising on domain to the same IT companies or products which are there in IT. Huge amount of work is involved. And invariably I have seen wherever people have adopted information technology other than for show off, many times they will say, okay, we will go for SAP. Turnover is 50 crores. What they are going for SAP for? The SAP itself will sap their whole profit margin. They should be in some scale to take up all that and maybe take some other smaller version of SAP. There are some smaller ones also. Anyway, I am not an expert, but I thought this is very important. All of us should tell the client, please automate. You may say, what should I do? Appoint somebody. There are so many automation consultants. Let them do. Can you, if you have a GST problem, you will come to me. If you have an income tax problem, any one of you has called me till today? No. You know this idiot doesn't know anything about income tax. He's on income tax, he doesn't know. So you will never come to me. So let's go to experts. Re-engineering is one of the huge value additive processes which we can go through. And it's a one-time exercise. Look at everything again. And especially when independent looks at it, they can find so many mistakes. Say in my office, if I call Madhur and ask him, have a look at my processes, till now he has so much of respect for me. Once he sees, he will say, Hari, this I have implemented when I was 40, 35. Till now, you are 59, still not implemented. He'll have a nice laugh. Of course, he'll get his fees, so he may not laugh in my face. Everywhere there can be value in this. What you do today, combine jobs, smarter work, delegation whether it's working. One of the simple things is, you go to any organization today, biggest problem which I am seeing, communication. Whatever disputes you are seeing today, huge amount of lack of communication. Though everything has become so easy, SMS, email, you can send to 10 people. It looks as if everything is easier. But you look at the total amount of disputes which are there, I can say easily that 70% of every dispute on earth is only communication. Because we are not communicated to the next department, not communicating to them, partners not communicating with each other, assistants not communicating between themselves, the team leader and assistants not communicating. Team leader and the person who is checking them in your audits, he is not communicating. You have 4 accountants in the company, they are going in 4 different directions. They have a lot of politics about each other. Yesterday I called my whole accounts department and I told them I'm going to sack all of you if my return is not filed by 15th of September. And that's it, I'm going to sack all of you. Anyway, some computer will be there, you can do your work. And you know how much we are paying all of you, totally 70,000-80,000 rupees. I sack all of you, I'll keep some outsourced accountant. Let's see what happens. I don't think that's the right way to do it, but anyway, that's the way I do it. Maybe we have to look at longer term, not short term. Don't look at short term benefits, look at long term benefits. I tell my partners that also. If it comes to it, shape up or ship out. Don't expect any free will here. Whatever you got is the main, whatever income you got is the return for what you got as a professional. Don't expect some lifetime pension like government here in a chartered accountant's office. So actually this re-engineering could lead to cost saving. I'm sure you know all of this. I'm just putting everything back in focus. Many of the things, 90% of whatever I'm telling you know. But whether you're doing it, the last sentence is very, very important for you. In our institute, there are a lot of regulation, code of ethics, and it has been moving, it has been evolving over a period of time. So if I take up a work for where I say I will optimize your cost, not I will win your appeal, I will sign your balance sheet, all this doesn't come into optimization of cost. Optimization of cost of the client. If you are doing this exercise, client may say, oh sir, you know, whole industry is falling down, there is no money in the industry, you have quoted 5 lakhs for a process to maybe a 200 crore company, and they say, no, 5 lakhs is too much, do it for 50,000. So you tell them, sir, I will do one thing, 10,000 is my fee, 10% of whatever I save you will be payable. Client will think, immediately say 10% little more, no sir. Tell him okay 8%. What difference it makes? After all, if you save him some 10 crores, what is your fee? Earlier you quoted 5 lakhs, now you are going to take 30-40 lakhs more. This is possible in this area, wherever cost optimization is there. Wherever you find this, in cost optimization, if you find this is the solution which is available within our code of ethics. So obviously that will be a management consultancy assignment, and then you can tell percentage, and only in the first year you will get that. He will say, okay, continue for all the years. May not be useful. First year, one time you should do it. What about compliance and optimization? Whatever it is, optimization of people, optimization of cost, labor. I think everything, all these areas are areas which we know about. We can even see it sometimes when we do the client's audit. Because the audit is a wonderful time when you interact with many people, many departments, many parts. Some of us, of course, we think audit is sitting with the accountant. That's never audit. Whatever audit you go, it's not sitting with the accountant. In fact, the accountant already knows all the answers to your questions. He doesn't know what is the correct thing, but he knows how to answer you. All the difficult areas, he will say, yes sir, that is good point sir. I will get you that agreement. Till you go from the audit, he is still saying, I will get you that agreement. And you will put, finally you will say, okay, forget about it. So you should deal with directly the operations. Go to the sales, go to the marketing, go to the purchase, go to the production. And let me tell you, they are so open. Unlike our accountant. Our accountant is like us. Suspicious little fellow. You go to the marketing fellow, Sindar Dilli will be. He will tell you, yes sir, we do all these things. You don't know there is some problem in the sir, doesn't matter, whole industry is doing, we are doing. Same question you had asked the accountant, sir, we never do it. That fellow is telling, I am doing it and I am doing it in a big way. So maybe we have to look at many things. If you look at data mining, big area, data analytics. In fact, in our office once I sent a mail to all my partners saying, we need to get into data analytics and all, something we should know about this. No reply. So I applied. I had 5 days. Here only, Bangalore. 3 lakhs or 4 lakhs I paid. Went there. I was totally incompetent person there. Because there, first of all, the average age of everybody was about 30. I had gone 2 years back, 57 years. By the time I open itself, they have finished the problem itself. Python, this, that, they were talking such. I just got an idea about what this data analytics is after spending 4 lakhs. If I had sent some article, they would have been expert by now. Anyway, so maybe you should look at that as an area to pick up stuff. One more thing is, this compliance is certainly today, if you look at the mall, the way the government is integrating data, income tax data, toll data, e-way data, RTO data, everything is getting integrated. So you can't avoid, in long term, you can't avoid either income tax or GST. Of course, there are some very smart people who still operate out of the system, but they cannot grow. They can go do some 5 crores of work. How much you can trust people with money? If everything is accounted, you can trust everybody, not even your enemy you can trust. But if you have money transaction, your brother, your close friend, all of them, one day or the other they will have a need. And that's the day they will put their hand into the till. So that is what we should tell the clients, I think. I think there are many other value creators. I am sure you can think of many more than I have listed here. Inventory levels. Today in this world with GST coming, automatically the transport time has come down. But has the inventory of your client come down? Should it not have come down proportionately? Say it was taking 8 days for me to get goods, now it takes only 4 days. Should not the inventory be adjusted for that 4 days? Should be, no? Also, now information available on our Google, they say that Google knows more about you than your wife. None of you are surprised because you have heard it so many times. Google knows more about you than you also. That is what I understood. Even now this camera may be working and recording everything I am saying. So many people don't know. If you have not put, you don't have to link to the internet. It can still capture what you are doing. Once this thing is open, many people put a cap here, on this camera here. On your mobile, there is a camera. Please remember. Don't move around in understate with your mobile. Very dangerous. You don't know how many people are seeing and forwarding. Financial discipline. This is sometimes missing in India. We think their business is an ATM. Take from it whenever you want, all cash. Then later the auditor has to adjust everything. But by the time after 4 or 5 years, the business is sick and they wonder why it is sick. Because it's used like an ATM. Whenever there is a need. That's not the way you have to do. One of the other things which we need to have, I think very important, is this attitude that I don't know. All of you today have come to this place because you have come with the attitude of, I don't know, I would like to know more. Right? But there are lots who didn't come. Where they say, I know. For example, in our office, if any Bangalore study circle started, the only 2 people who went were Rajesh and me. Both of us are thinking of exiting from the firm, and we were the only people who had gone for that study circle. Other people had not even bothered to come. Point is what? They think that they know. Why we went? We went because we know that we don't know. So somewhere we have to put this thought process we don't know. Whether it's direct tax, management consultancy, whatever you are doing. If you look at I don't know, then you can learn much more and be further. Some of the skills I thought I will touch on in the next 10-15 minutes. I feel that ICA has totally failed as an educational institution. Totally failed. I went twice also to get it changed. And I should say that I have also failed. In fact, Shetty said I did something in GST. Let me tell you, the biggest contribution I did was for students. That is why I went first time, that's why I went second time also. But it happened, GST came along and I am a little of a disciplinarian. I got good support from Venkatramani and Jatin. Thanks to them, I got a good name. Team was wonderful and the leaders were scared of me. So they would leave me alone. Oh, he will tell something somewhere. Even now I say, that time also, like most of the presidents I told them, you have no integrity. On the council table with our government nominees, they say, what integrity you have? You have no integrity at all. How can you question my integrity? Okay, I'll tell you. Please give me 15 minutes time, I'll tell you 10 things you are not having integrity today. I don't want to talk about next earlier. Earlier it will be 200 instances of lack of integrity. Okay. Madhukar, we'll have a separate meeting on this. A separate meeting never happened with anybody. Anyway, the point is that we have not gained skills. We could have gained the skills by ourselves also, but we have not done it. We think once CA is over, it's a passport for success. Never a passport for success. You have to add a lot of skills. Nowadays it becomes more and more important. So what is this understanding of analytical skill? In fact, we have a workshop also. Workshop for only 30 people we are doing for understanding analytical skill. 2-day workshop. Only 30 people I think must be filled by now. Anyway, the point is, how are you going to build your analytical skill? What is it involves? Is it something which is God given, genetic? It may be. Some logical thinking and all might have come down from your grandfather, but what I have seen in life is the person who comes from the slum can do as well or better than you also, because he has something else in him. He has an urge to achieve, to do something. Some of us are okay, very comfortable. Okay, comfort area will work. Any uncomfortable area not required for me. So, what is it that it involves? It possibly involves identification of problem, collecting enough information. This is the place where we lose out. We use Google and stop at that. There are so many resources in your office. Maybe libraries, dictionaries. Maybe if I look at GST VAT decisions are there. UK VAT decisions, not our VAT decisions. So many places to look for. Then look at cause and effect. Why it is happening? Why that provision has come? These are the analytical ways of looking at why the provision is there. We are accepting many times, oh, provision is there, circular is there. I don't know why we are so much bothered about circular and advanced ruling in GST. Both of them are irrelevant to GST. The only place it's useful is what is the logic behind it. Say there is an advanced ruling, you look at what is it that the client said, what is it that the department said, that argument you can see. Decision anyway, some JC has given, which is toilet paper, throw it in the dustbin. But it's coming in newspapers nowadays. Advanced ruling comes in newspapers. Supreme Court decision doesn't come, advanced ruling comes. I don't know what these media fellows are telling you, taking everybody for a ride. Anyway, you have to evaluate the data which you have got, then look at alternative solutions. Many of us are stuck with what we know. This is the solution. Don't look at it that way. Think why it is not so. Put yourself in the other side. Let me question everything which is there in this. You will be surprised how your skill of thinking will improve. Contrarian thinking. I am not saying finally you may come to the same way. But first start with that. Many of us, when we get an opinion, we look at favorable opinion. Don't look at favorable opinion first. First look at all the unfavorable opinion, how you will defend against it. Easiest way to give a wonderful opinion. Because now you have safeguarded the client fully. If you are convinced that no, none of these contrary opinions can apply to you, then your opinion obviously will be of very high quality. But contrary, don't look at favorable. Normally we'll go put favorable, we'll get a big list, we'll put that into the opinion, the client is very happy, you have done all this. When the show cause notice comes, you say, I can't do anything, law is different, lawyers are idiots, judge is idiot, all this, pointing fingers at everybody. Unfortunately, not seeing that 4 fingers are pointed towards ourselves. When I do this, at least 3 are pointed towards me. Then maybe we can look at, alternative ways. So what are the things if I have to juggle or start working on my analytical skills, don't take things for granted at all. Critical thinking. There are some YouTube videos on critical thinking. You can go and see that. And many of these are like sisters, cousins and all. Analytical thinking, critical thinking, logical reason thinking, all cousins. Analytical thinking is a little bigger cousin. He covers all these terms. Sorting information, asking right questions. As I said, when the client comes to you, if you have already done some analysis of his industry, etc., then ask him where he is placed, at least 10 minutes. He has a problem. You tell him, just wait for 10 minutes. I will address your problem. First, let me understand what you are doing. Ask him the right questions. Breaking up complex issues. There are big issue, Break it up. Okay, there are 7 components of this. Let's understand each of them. I think the rest of it, out of the box is also. Some of us are very good at out of the box thinking. So maybe you should have 1 or 2 people in your office who are good at this, who will tell all sorts of stupid things, but they think out of the box. They can be wonderful because we are all used to being, we are conditioned to think a particular way. So this out of the box. Off and on you will get some article or qualified in your office who thinks out of the box. Try and retain them forever. Make them a partner. Yeah. Prioritizing, very important in prioritizing. You can't take up some silly thing first. Maybe a checklist approach with this creative thinking. See, whatever we do, we are all conditioned, but that's also good. When you do audit, you have a checklist. When you file a return, you have a 74, in our office I think 74 point checklist you have for filing of a GST return. While you do all this, how much of that 2 of my people are here, they are smiling, which means that they may be using only 10% of it, right? I don't know. So, checklist approach with creativity is very useful. So, possible ways for to reach that subject matter expert. First is, Madhur also said, knowledge. Knowledge doesn't stop at GST law. Allied laws, income tax is useful, contract tax is useful, General Clauses Act is useful. If you refer to any good commentary, there will be one list of allied laws. In fact, I will tell you, for doing any practice in any taxation, you should know the Constitution and all the legal maxims which are there. In fact, in our earlier courses in all these IDT certification course in 2011, we had dedicated half day for this. And I think in GST also we had dedicated half day. How is the Constitution relevant to GST? What legal maxims are applicable to GST? In fact, all legal maxims are there, but they will teach you maybe 5 or 10 or 20. There are lots of legal maxims. Maybe you have to research. Research is one of the ways to make your mind move forwards, laterally, upwards, sideways. Best way to research. First to do a lot of reading on the subject and think differently. Then you can possibly start writing articles. Many of us write articles which are whatever the law I put it and put it on Google, okay, many people will put. This is one easiest way. Some 10,000 likes. Absolutely useless that like this. In fact, that this is what you should see. Open that and see who is that fellow. At least they have the guts to say that. Maybe they have something. Maybe you should contact them. This fellow, no need to contact. He simply puts like that. Maybe speaking on forums, because even for this session, this is a specially prepared PPT, cut pasted from many other PPTs, but it's still specially prepared so that I spent some time again on this. And the moment I heard, I didn't know that Madhur was speaking on the same subject. I heard, I told chairman, I don't want your coffee, I'll go listen to him, that will be much more useful. So I came up to listen, because a young fellow, he'll come up with so many ideas. I got something from what he said also. Maybe we have to do mathematical games. I know many of us came to CA because we don't want mathematics. Earlier, this is one of the sad parts of CA. It was there earlier in the entrance itself, when I wrote in, I think whatever, when did I write, 1980 something I wrote, and at that time we had maths in the entrance itself. And in inter also maths were very difficult. Calculus, this, that, so many words. I forgotten all those words because I don't want to remember. So bad it was. But I got through that without failing. Other things, of course, I had my share of failures, let me say, finally. Puzzles, crosswords, everything available on your mobile and also on your newspapers. Sudoku, Scrabble, chess. I have added bridge because I play bridge every day to 1 or 2 hours. That is my, what is that? Not urgent, not important category of my life. You know that important versus urgent. In life, most of us are in the first quadrant of life, of this important and urgent. We don't do anything which is important. Then it becomes urgent, then we do it. And we are always stressed. We have no time for anything. We don't exercise. Important, but not urgent, no, it's okay. When I become 40, I will start exercise. By the time you are already 110 kilos, what you are going to do at that time? You will reduce by 1 kilo per year. So maybe for that part of it you can look at. Join a debate club. Bangalore Study Circle is available if you are looking at GST. Akshara, we have one Akshara running for some 15-20 years. Toastmasters, these are the places where you can go to expand your mind and become creative. Maybe you should teach analytical skills. Now, am I very analytical? No, I am not analytical. But when this topic came up, I thought maybe it's time to add this skill to myself. And so I am trying to teach myself. I am teaching you whatever little I know about it. And I am doing many workshops. Every workshop I am also a student. I will give an introduction and go and sit as a student. So I am learning a lot. So probably I will learn to enhance my analytical skills, though I have 2-3 years of practice left. Maybe volunteer for unrelated, not related to CA, volunteer for something. You get, the whole world has so much to offer you. Amazing people you will meet. The CA community, we are all little, we already know, this fellow is like this, fellow is like this, that fellow is like that lady, Geeta like this. I already have got a full image about what Geeta is. Because only I am already that many image coming. So, if I meet somebody outside, maybe I learn a little more. Chartered accountants, all like this. Look for trends, patterns, play on Excel functions, simulation. Do you think I do this? Sorry, because Excel opening and putting 2-3 things there is a big problem for me. But I have heard that this is a very useful thing for simulating creation. Some people have done whole GST compliance only in Excel. I know at least 10 of them in my short movement across the country, that time 3 years. So many people I saw, they showed me one program. So you just have to put this and it will come out like this. They're wonderful, but I didn't go deep. Because then he will come to know I don't know Excel. At present he thinks I am some sort of a god of whatever GST. You know, all the books I have written, he said for some 16 books, that was some 10 years back. Now 23 books. But do I write? Sorry, you look at the names after me. The last name contributed the most. 80% of the book written by last name. 10% by the next fellow. 5% I would have told, this is not correct, do this, send it back. What is this? Lousy. That's all. Final vetting I may do partly. That's the book you read. And you think Madhukar sir has a lot of knowledge, it's not that. The last fellow is the right fellow to contact. He will not even have any problem, he has a lot of time. He or she also. Many ladies also have helped me in writing books. One of the issues in any of this, any consulting, anything we do, we don't listen. In fact, once many years back, maybe about 15-20 years back, some client once came and he told me, the problem with you, Madhukar, you are very good, very sincere, very disciplined, everything, but you just don't listen. So I went there in that night when we were having dinner with kids and so I told them, you know, it's ridiculous. One client came today and said that I don't listen. But nobody laughed. I said, what is wrong with this? So my eldest daughter is my support, always. Whatever I do, even if I look at some girls on the set, he's a man, ma, let him look. She explained to my wife. So I thought, I looked at her and said, Manasa, no answer. Sometimes Papa will listen to me. I was shocked. Then I looked at my wife. She said, last 5 years I have told you, why you have to listen to a client? 5 years I have told you, you never listen to anybody. So serious. Then I wrote an article on listening, which is still there on the website. So, active listening, very important. Many of you laughed, but just think whether you listen. Just think whether you listen. You really listen. Or go and ask. Best is mother. Go and ask your mother whether she will listen. The younger people. And of course, married people, the other person you can ask. Answer I know to both. Okay. So maybe we have to do something to enhance our listening, at least to our clients. If you don't listen at home, paisa nahi jata hai. But if you don't listen to the client itself will go away. Forget about fees. So maybe we have to listen to them. We should listen to them the way we want to be listened to. Maybe we have to try and understand what they are saying and not even saying, what they are feeling. Objectives could be to build rapport, demonstrate concern, interest, and after all we are here to solve this problem. Whatever is real problem is, So many times they are unable to state problem to you. They just tell you something, but you have to get deeper to get its real problem. Enjoy that interaction also when you are with them, and maybe you will have a much better relationship. Relationship with client doesn't mean you go to the parties and home for dinner and nothing is required. Okay, only you have to listen better, that's enough. Many times they say in the listening is the solution. I had mentioned this in the last analytical program, and one lawyer came and he said, I got a client just 2 days back. I just listened to him for 2 hours. At the end of it, I asked him, what should I do? He said, you don't have to do anything. My problem is solved. I just asked him a few questions and he just got up in the end and said, thank you very much, I went up. Unfortunately, like me, he doesn't have a sheet. We have a sheet in the starting. Any new client comes, name, address, etc. All that is useless. Last in bold. Per hour, 10,000 rupees will be billed. That he doesn't have, so possibly he lost the money. If he was with me, client 2 hours, I will bill him at least 10,000. So, how can we do it? When we play at something, also things happen. My time is still 1, right? Oh, not much time. So, I will be sharing this. These are all logical. If you just think how you can listen actively, you can make out. And since this will be shared, I think I'll leave it at that. But many of us use mobile. We keep it on the side. Even if the client is there, you put it in silent, but your eye is on the mobile. What are you doing? You want to get clients. You want to impress them, and you look at the mobile every few moments. Do you think he is an idiot sitting opposite you? He can make out that you are interested in that, ping something. What is that ping? Is it to do anything with work? No. I always had this major problem. When the client is speaking, I have already decided what is his problem, what is the solution, everything. I want to I tell you. Recently also an old man came. He said, Madhukar, please listen to me. I told no, 10 years back I came, you gave me a wonderful solution. That time also I told you to listen to me. So again he made me sit, okay, I listened to him. Of course, it was the same thing which I thought. But anyway, the point is when you interrupt your client, you may lose out what is his real problem, or you may not get the whole problem. If you are impatient, he will tell you only half the problem. Maybe you are not giving good advice. How to get expertise, very important. You can't get expertise just like that, wishing for it. Bangalore Study Circle, GST, expertise one method. Simple. Go there because they are going to ask you so many things. They are going to ask you to contribute. Every person who is going there has a work allotted and it has a time limit, and they will blast you there. In front of everybody you will get blasted. So one of the things was give 25 questions. So the moment I came back, that day only I sent back 25 questions. So that I should not be exposed there to whoever's. If others don't do it, it's okay, but I have done. Are you getting what I am saying? So start by choosing an area, persevere. Maybe you should join somebody in that area so that you get some experience, some depth in the subject. Everywhere it's academics. You may have to write articles, graduate to books and booklets. It's not a big deal. In fact, people may think that Madhukar is very interested in academics, and I have never been interested in academics. I have never been interested in studies. Even today I am not interested in studies. But I do it because it has to be done. And it's not so difficult. When I failed 4 times in CA and I have written 20 odd books along with others. You can write 50 books along with others. Why not? Teaching also is one easy way of learning. And many of the people in our office have become leaders and experts because of teaching. Either they teach there or in colleges or some coaching class or somewhere. And that's how they become very good. While doing all this, you should have an individual brand also. So how can you do it? Concentrate where you are doing what you are doing. Maybe if you are going on some online site, choose the site which you think it will be useful to you, then stick to that site for 3 years. For example, KSCA, I think I have been contributing now for some 25 years. 25 years, and no article is there which I have not seen. Somebody, the co-author obviously is writing most of it. Starting I used to write everything, now others write, I have a look. So building that individual brand is very important. Credibility for you when the client comes. because his confidence will help you to get that expertise. So I will possibly give all this to you. If you are giving an opinion, always be very careful. This is what I am telling in GST, because your opinion can destroy the client. I am saying can destroy the client. It's not like income tax with some small bit of impact. Client focus is very important, and I am sure all of you know that, but maybe some of the thought processes here can be put into action. Like for example, one of the thought process always is, we are here because of the client. Client is not there because of us. Even if the client has come on his own to you, you are there because you are expecting some client to come. Otherwise, what would you do? Like Madhu said in the starting of practice, they were only reading, nothing, nobody, no client would come. I had kept the book of exercise so that I will differentiate from other chartered accountants. There were many chartered accountants like me who had no work at all. So I had kept exercise. So anybody comes to my office, that was my differentiator. Not that I had read exercise, but they saw, oh, this fellow is looking into exercise. They know 0, I know 2 pages, so I was better off than any of them. Over a period of time, of course, I started. 97, after some 10 years or 12 years, I wrote some books and all. Maybe one point is, look at what is not being directly told. That may be one. I think some of what Madhukar said is here. Sometimes there is a requirement for us to be accountable. We accountants hate to be accountable, whether we are at work or whether we are in practice. The fact is, those in practice, we have come into practice because we wanted to be independent. Unfortunately, you can't grow unless there is somebody who is going to look at you and say, this is not right, Madhukar, that is not right. We can't have people putting only aarti to you. Then you will only fly around like a hot balloon. One fine day, one prick, you are dead. Nothing will be left. Maybe we have to put accountability to ourselves when we offer, put it in writing. Don't depend on oral, especially nowadays. Because there is even nowadays a possibility that we lose money. Somebody may put a case against us. So I think I rushed the last few slides, come to the end also. Maybe what is required is we have to look outside this ICAI if we want expertise. You have to look outside ICAI, don't depend only on ICAI. Look at the management institutes. It need not be IIM only. I put IIM, IBS, both are expensive. But there are many programs of B schools. I mean the B category schools of management schools, which could be equally effective. NSLU is there. Maybe you should focus in your organization of what you need. Once you know, for example, we have a lot of people in our office who graduate, who finish CA, and then I find their English is not good. It is too late actually. They have graduated, now they don't want to sit with articles and learn English. But their English is atrocious. So how are they going to grow? How are they going to talk to our multinational clients? Then I have to go. If I have to go, then why do we require all these assistants? Are you getting what I am saying? Maybe we have to look at what our organization requires. What English teacher you require? Find out somewhere nearby, somebody will be there. We got a teacher who said, I will do it for 3,000 rupees. And there were 70 people in that class. Not only my office, some other offices also joined. We had 70 people in that class. 3,000 rupees he was charging. We did 6 classes for 3 hours. 6 into 3, 18. 18 hours of English, and I am sure it's only tip of the iceberg there. And all people were there. There were qualifieds there, lawyers were there, articles were there. So maybe we have to look at what we need. Maybe the skilling itself, ICI can look at it. Each item skilling is a one-day workshop. Listening skills, one-day workshop. Not just come and listen to something what I told. I mean, demonstrate it. No? This there is some left brain, right brain, and all. We can call those experts. If I call them, with 5 people, it's not worth it. But for ICI, it won't matter. Please do that. Updated, lot of online courses are there free. Huge number. In fact, our own academy is there. Our institute, indirect tax. If you go to the YouTube, just put YouTube and put indirect tax. Even now, if you want to learn customs, the entire customs is available on YouTube, free. This was done just before I left. I did some of those things because everything nowadays is looking at money. So we kept everything free when I was there. Everything free. Take. Many people copied the same thing and then put their name on the book and printed it and made money on it. So there are also online paid, you can look at it. So I don't know whether I have actually done much, but I'm sure you see the tip of the iceberg. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I just have a few minutes here. I would like 4 of you to say what you got from Madhur's session and what you got from my session. 4 of you, I'll pick them, otherwise their hands won't go. Volunteers, anybody? No, we'll start. Every 6th person. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, you, black shirt, specs. And pass it on, the next person.
Yes.
What you got from Madhur's session? You can say, I got this from Madhur's session, nothing from your session. No problem. Okay?
Yeah, it was two wonderful and beautiful
No,
sessions.
we don't want all this general.
Yeah.
What you got? One thing.
One thing, first basic evaluation before taking any decision, either to start a practice or going for the job. And then financial viability, commercial feasibility, then
That's enough, that's enough. We pass it up. 6th. I think that, yeah, last person. Then next 6th is here.
Yeah, mine is a startup actually.
No, don't tell us your story. Please tell what you got.
From your point, from your slides,
Mine or his.
you mentioned about teaching English to articles. Definitely I will introduce in my talks.
Wonderful. Yeah, 6th person there. Yeah, check. Even if you have met me, I won't remember your name because of my wonderful. You only. Check, sure.
Yes. One of the main, I am actually confused regarding regarding when to go for practice. So I got a very good clarity with that.
Okay, very good.
Whether to
Actually, I
start 1 year,
counted
2 year,
wrong.
3
You
year.
were right. Yeah, thanks a lot. Yeah, 6th. I think gentleman over there. Last.
Actually, I came to know during the start of the career whether to practice or whether to do this and whether to work for 5 years before practice.
Okay, that the idea you got in this topic.
Yeah.
Okay, pass it on. I think here somewhere this side will come. Yeah, Adidas. Adidas only. Okay, I might not have counted. Last time you were right there. Yes, come on, madam. What one thing you got?
Not to be generalized, be specialized in some area.
Okay, very good. Yeah. Now 6th one. Oh, passing on. Anybody?
What are the steps to take to set up a good practice? I got an idea.
Yeah. Back, you can just give it back. You all count, you are better because 2 of them I counted wrong. Yeah.
No fee service. We must bill the clients. No effort.
Yeah, you can do that. No fee service. We'll give it to you last. Anyway, you are the only person who lifted the hand. Can you pass it on to him and we'll stop with that?
No,
Because we already passed this time.
One thing is not covered in the.
No, what we didn't cover, I am not interested. I want to know what you got, sir. You are like a chartered accountant. Come and find fault with me. I am asking specifically, what did you learn? You wasted the whole day.
Absolutely.
Tell what you did listen not so.
No, this is
Sometime before deciding and fault finding and all that. Somewhere in between.
No, it's
What you listen, you tell me, boss.
No, it's a lot of value additions.
Okay, all brought. Sita, Gita, very good Bhagavad Gita. Yeah.
Sir, I would like to tell one thing with Madhu sir and as well as one thing.
No, you don't have to tell. Tell what you got in this session.
In this session, first thing that I got from the first part of the session was
not Madhusudan, Madhur Harlalka.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, both of us, first part is Madhu.
Sir, lot of clients are calling me by your name, sir. Unfair, sir.
What to do? A few years more, I'll get out, then you will have. Madhavamurthy, one more name you have got. All names full of confusion. Madhavamurthy, Madhukar, Madhur. What is this? Okay, no, we understand your
I'm sorry if I have.
No, don't worry, we are not taking options. Yeah. I just made it a joke.
With respect to Madhukar sir, the 2% service that you are giving to the objecting of this.
That was certainly not the subject, but anyway, I'm happy you have taken
No,
that.
I prefer to take that first.
Yeah.
And with respect to the first session was, as soon as he qualified as a chartered accountant, he just straight away started doing the practice.
He was also part of the Rakshara circle. Like he used to come from wherever he was. He used to come to Jayanagar.
You are always no, sir?
Yeah.
2004 that was.
Yeah, 2004 he used to come. The Rakshara is there for a few years. So he used to come from his area, but your Indra used to come every day. Every Tuesday or Wednesday.
Tuesday morning, sir.
Tuesday morning. Anyway, I think thank you very much for all your interest. One more person wants to say. So that will close? Yes. Okay, I will get off this stage.
Sir, I understood what is the work culture you have in our office.
Okay. Not my intended this thing. I have no pressure. If they don't do their work, they won't get money. I will get little less money. But unfortunately, I am earning 1.5 crores. Little less means what? Another 5 lakh, 10 lakhs less. But they will not get money. That's for sure. Thanks a lot for your sharing.
Friends, please be seated for 2 more minutes. We have arranged a good lunch we will have together. So, coming to conclusion of this session, Madhukar sir mentioned a few of the important things for all of us to how to strategize to go to the next level of practice. Mother Harlalka mentioned a few things how to start the practice and the next level of practice. Normally, the proprietor or a two-partner firm, after a few years, 10 or 15 years, they become stagnant. So initial years, normally everyone has the energy to run around with all this motivation speech and all. Yeah, people run around and make it happen, reach a crore of turnover, then it becomes stagnant. It is not moving. Because their immediate needs normally met in that years of practice. Then how to move above? It's very difficult. So in that way, he has mentioned many things. But I think I'll also share 1 or 2 things which I think with my practical experience. See, the Madhukar sir mentioned it is most important. Whatever you do, the value addition is most important. Client is not interested in your compliance angle. Maybe statutory audit is mandatory for him. You have to do. He has to undergo that. But as an independent professional, you have to do it independently without any obligation from that. That is our duty as a chartered accountant. But at the same time, you can add value there also. Even in his area of practice, in direct tax or direct practice or consultancy area, how we can add practice. Maybe my understanding and my way of working with the client is, first we understand the client and the client business. That is most important to add value. If you understand your client and the client business well, then you can add value. Just for example, if you go to, normally maybe you are doing his GST audit. In that process, if you have to go through his accounts, maybe the Tally software or whatever accounting software you are normally going through, you come across his inventory level, his bank working capital, all his the term loans, all these things. Many clients, normally majority of our clients are small and medium entrepreneurs. They normally don't employ chartered accountant or professional accountants. Normally become graduate or sometimes they outsource their accounting requirements. He may be an engineer, proprietor. He is not well aware of the finance. They think they know everything. They work in their own passion. They use working capital facility for purchasing a immovable property or a machinery, and they end up paying, their current ratio comes down, they end up paying higher rate of interest for their bank working capital facility. So all these things as a chartered accountant, they not aware. I am telling with my practical experience, majority of our clients not aware what chartered accountant can do. They normally think that chartered accountant is meant to prepare balance sheet, and file their tax return. That is the general understanding of the clients, which is because our not awareing these things, not educating our client. It is fault of majority of us. we are not educating our clients what we are capable to. So that thing I think we can go into and educate our client what is our capacity, what we can add value there. Understand his business, his finance, his inventory, his workforce, all these things we can advise them and add value there. That is how the clients sticks to us and use more fees. Maybe those immediate value additions we may not be charging. So in my practice, I don't charge such value additions immediately. I don't charge. But in the year-end bill, all those things is added, and we charge, and he happily pays. He knows that client who received the value from the clients, he never forgets that. He invariably comes to us, and he refers many other clients. Clients come by reference. We never market it. We never go to clients to seeking the work. Client comes by reference. Client comes by reference always give much more respect than client you looked for and you went to him and asked for the work. He will think that he is one more service provider, not a professional. That is how my experience. So then sir mentioned is many other things like value creation, value enabler, preserver of value and reporter of value, all these things. Then he mentioned USP, unique selling proposition is most important for each one of us. Each one has a different USP, so we need to capitalize that and do. And visibility, that is much more important. Whoever you see in the market are successful chartered accountant are visible, whether you say Madhukar or our Madhukar sir or many other Venkatramani or anybody who are visible are successful because of their visibility through writing, to speaking or in many other ways. I think we are each one of us are capable to do that because with the practice with hard work. Maybe people like me really find it very difficult from coming from a remote village. And what he said, even after graduation or even after passing CA, I was not able to speak English. Even today, I am not good speaker or my English may be worst. So, but still, I put lot of effort to do that to come to this level. That can be done by any chartered accountant. We are capable. We can go into that level, speak, write, all these things. Visibility is more important. Then travel across. Travel, I think, is most important today. It is affordable to many of us. I think, we have seen people visited Singapore and come back and keep their surroundings a little bit clean for a few days. Remember that? Many people do that. So that is how the visibility gives this travel gives us some new thinking and different level of thinking. And the last and most important is listening. Listening to our own staff, our clients. These are all most important to do. Go to the next level. Maybe we thinking we are all doing right things always, but many a time may not be right. In our angle it may be right, but not from the receiver point of view, we are doing wrong. So in such situation, I think listening is the most important thing our sir mentioned, I think which we need to develop and do the best thing whatever possible. This is the idea we drawn because particularly we thought every year we celebrate Independence Day with a few of the students who come here for their coaching classes. We take them and conduct Independence Day celebration. This year I mentioned to our chairman, at least we conduct this kind of program. Few CS let them come out. This is the thing, even though it is Independence Day, we should have celebrated voluntarily come. I somehow said that voluntarily people may not come out from home. So we will do this 3 hours CPE subject with this unique topic like how to start a practice and how to develop, go to the next level in practice. I think at least few of you came and actively participated. I thank our Madhukar sir for his valuable and precious time and knowledge shared with us. Thank you very much, sir. My special thanks to each one of you for your participation and Happy Independence Day once again. Please join us on lunch. Thank you very much.